In the following, we introduce you to the export dialog for saving images in the scan software SilverFast AI Studio, and then take a look at the dialog in the SilverFast HDR Studio software. SilverFast offers an export dialog with special functions for both batch processing and job manager processing. These settings can replace individual frame settings. First, we take a look at the dialog in the scan software. The export dialog opens automatically as soon as the batch scan or the Start button of the Job Manager is clicked. The file format selection ensures a uniform file format without having to adjust the format for each image individually. If you specify different file formats for your images, you can, of course, keep them. Select Use Frame Format to keep individual frame settings. For image formats with additional options, you will find a small triangle next to the selection dialog, which you can use to access additional settings such as bit depth or compression. You can also select if you want to keep the original size or scale to a uniform target size. In addition to some typical length values for the longest edge, user-defined values can be entered. The user-defined size can be entered using pixel specifications for a fixed width or height. You can also select the number of pixels for the longest or shortest edge, which is useful when scanning a mix of portrait and landscape images. In the next section, you can specify whether the IPTC data should be embedded in the files. The prerequisite for this is, of course, that IPTC data has been entered for each image. IPTC data may contain information about the photographer or a location that you do not want to share. In the file naming dialog, you determine whether you want to use individual frame names assigned in advance, or whether the frame files should be given a uniform name and numbering. The common file name and a start index can be specified. Below, the name of the first file created is displayed as an example. The storage location is defined in the export path area. This is valid for all scan frames or entries in the Job Manager and always replaces individual settings. The pull-down menu allows you to quickly select some common storage locations. Click on User Defined to open the file browser and manually select a folder. The function Place in Subfolder allows you to quickly create or specify a subfolder. If this subfolder does not exist, it will be created automatically. A click on the Export button starts the scan process and saves the images according to your specifications. In the next part, we'll have a look at the differences in the SilverFast HDR Studio export dialog. Especially if you follow our raw data workflow, you will process raw data scans with the SilverFast HDR Studio software that you export according to your needs. The raw data usually is created with high resolution. Therefore, raw data allows you to react flexibly to all imaginable requirements and generate files that meet the required criteria of size and quality. During the export process, a new file is created based on the raw data and your adjustments. The raw data itself remains unchanged. As SilverFast HDR Studio is intended to create files for a certain purpose, there is no option to save raw data. As the images are already digitally available, you can keep the name of the original file in the export dialog of HDR Studio.